Your peace has been paying for things you were never meant to buy. It has paid for quick replies sent before you had time to ask yourself what you truly felt. It has paid for conversations you kept alive long after your body began asking for quiet. It has paid for the comfort of people who wanted you available, agreeable, calm, understanding, and easy to reach. It has paid for moments when you smiled, because explaining your sadness felt harder than carrying it alone. It has paid for every time you made yourself smaller so the room would not become uncomfortable around your truth. All day, so much was measured: how quickly you answered, how kindly you spoke, how much patience you showed, how useful you were, how much work you finished, how well you hid the strain, how smoothly you carried responsibilities that were never evenly shared. People may have measured your tone, your timing, your productivity, your loyalty, your willingness, even the expression on your face. Yet almost no one stopped to measure what all of that was costing you inside. That cost matters. Not because you need to become guarded, not because the world is against you, not because every request is a threat or every relationship is taking something from you. The cost matters because your inner life is real. Your attention is real. Your energy is real. Your time is real. The quiet place within you is not an endless public resource. It is not a waiting room where every demand receives a number and eventually gets called. There is an unseen expense in being reachable before you are ready. There is an unseen expense in saying yes before your own answer has formed. There is an unseen expense in listening while your body is asking you to step away. There is an unseen expense in explaining yourself to someone who has already decided not to understand. Most people never name this expense. They only feel its result at the end of the day, when the room is finally quiet and their mind is still crowded with everyone else. That may be why silence has not always felt peaceful to you. Sometimes silence is when all the unfinished conversations come back. It is when you hear the message you did not answer, the request you want to refuse, the disappointment you are afraid to cause, the tone you are still analyzing, the look on someone's face that you have been trying to interpret. The noise stops outside, but inside, the negotiations continue. You do not need to solve any of that right now. These words are not another task. They are not an order to become stronger, calmer, wiser, or more disciplined before this moment is over. You are not being asked to cut people off, make a dramatic decision, send a difficult message, forgive someone on command, or suddenly know exactly what every relationship in your life should become. Nothing has to be settled in the next few minutes. You do not need to prove that you are learning. You do not need to perform healing correctly. You do not need to sit in a special way or breathe at a perfect pace. You do not need to force yourself to feel peaceful just because peace is being spoken about. Even the part of you that feels irritated, tired, numb, doubtful, or far away is welcome here. There are days when the most honest form of rest is to stop demanding an immediate answer from yourself. You have answered enough questions for other people. You have explained enough choices. You have translated enough feelings into words that would be easier for others to accept. For this moment, you may set down the pressure to know. You may let uncertainty remain uncertain. You may let a complicated feeling exist without turning it into a plan. Nothing is required of you here. You may listen closely, or your attention may wander. You may agree with one sentence and resist the next. You may feel relief, or you may feel nothing yet. You may recognize yourself at once, or the recognition may arrive later while washing a cup, standing by a window, or reaching for your phone. There is no exam at the end of this. There is no correct emotional response. Some part of you may already be bracing for the moment when peace turns into another responsibility. You may know the kind of advice that sounds soft but still leaves you feeling blamed. Calm down. Let it go. Stop caring. Be positive. Do not take it personally. Forgive and move on. These phrases can sound simple when spoken by someone who is not carrying your history. Your heart is not a switch. Your nervous system is not disobedient because it does not relax on command. Your mind is not failing when it keeps returning to what felt unsafe, confusing, rejecting, or unfinished. A part of you learned to stay alert for a reason. A part of you learned to study voices, pauses, facial expressions, changing moods, and small shifts in distance. A part of you learned that belonging could depend on noticing what everyone else needed before they said it. You did not become watchful because you were weak. You became watchful because watchfulness once helped you feel prepared. It may have helped you avoid conflict. It may have helped you stay connected to someone unpredictable. It may have helped you become useful in a home where usefulness brought approval. It may have helped you sense when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to comfort, when to disappear, and when to make yourself easy to care for. Those skills may have been praised. People may have called you mature, thoughtful, patient, selfless, responsible, understanding, or strong. They may have admired how little you seemed to need. They may have depended on your ability to hold what others dropped. Over time, you may have mistaken being needed for being safe. That confusion is deeply human. When care and access become tangled together, you can begin to believe that love must always be available. You can begin to believe that a delayed reply is cruel, a changed mind is betrayal, a private feeling is dishonesty, and a limit is rejection. You can begin to believe that being a good person means being reachable even when you are depleted. Then the phone becomes more than a phone. It becomes a small door through which the whole world can enter at any hour. A message arrives, and before you read the words, your body reacts. Your stomach tightens. Your breathing changes. Your mind starts predicting what may be wanted from you. You look at the name and immediately calculate how much energy the conversation might require. You may wait a few minutes, then feel guilty for waiting. You may answer quickly, not because you are ready, but because the discomfort of not answering feels worse. You may have opened messages while brushing your teeth, while eating, while working, while trying to rest. while speaking with someone else, or while your own thoughts were asking for space. You may have replied from a place of exhaustion and then reread your words to make sure they sounded warm enough. You may have added an extra sentence, an extra explanation, an extra apology, or an extra smiling symbol so no one would mistake your limit for anger. You may know the strange tiredness of composing a simple no. You write it, you soften it, you erase it, you add a reason, you add another reason in case the first reason is not considered valid. You imagine the response, you prepare to defend yourself. You consider saying yes instead because the emotional work of refusing feels larger than the thing being requested. Sometimes you say yes and immediately feel your body go quiet in the wrong way, not peaceful, disconnected. A yes leaves your mouth, but something inside you steps back. You agree to the call, the visit, the favor, the task, the plan, the emotional labor, the extra responsibility. You may even sound cheerful. Then later, resentment appears, and you judge yourself for feeling it. You tell yourself that you chose this, so you have no right to be tired. You criticize the resentment instead of listening to what it is trying to reveal. Resentment is not always proof that you are unkind. At times, it is the delayed voice of a boundary that did not feel safe enough to speak when the decision was made. Then someone asks how you are, and you say, "I'm fine." You may say it automatically. The words can arrive before you have checked whether they are true. "I'm fine" may mean, "I do not have the energy to explain." It may mean, "I do not trust this person with the full answer." It may mean, "I am afraid that honesty will create more work." It may mean, "I have been carrying this for so long that I no longer know where to begin." Sometimes, "I'm fine" is not dishonesty. It is a temporary shelter. The problem begins when you are never given a place where the shelter can open. When every relationship depends on your calmness, your strength, your usefulness, or your ability to recover quickly. Your true feelings may start to feel like unwelcome guests in your own life. You may become excellent at recognizing what everyone else feels while struggling to name your own state. You can sense disappointment across a room, but overlook the heaviness in your chest. You can hear irritation in a single word, but miss the exhaustion behind your own eyes. You can predict what someone will ask next, but remain unsure what you need now. This is not because you do not know yourself. It is because your attention has been trained outward. For a long time, the outside world may have seemed more urgent than the inside one. Other people's moods had consequences. Their approval created relief. Their anger created tension. Their silence created questions. Their happiness told you that you had done well. You learned to keep checking the emotional weather around you even when no one asked you to. You may walk into a room and feel responsible for its atmosphere. If someone is quiet, you try to brighten it. If two people are tense, you become easier. If a loved one is upset, you search for the right words. If someone is disappointed with your decision, you begin building a case for why your decision is acceptable. You may explain your choices before anyone challenges them. You explain why you cannot come, why you need more time, why you changed your mind, why you are tired, why you did not answer, why you need privacy, why you spent money on something for yourself, why you ended a conversation, why you do not want to discuss a subject, why you are not ready. The explanation grows because you hope that enough detail will turn your limit into something no reasonable person can reject. Yet a person who believes they are entitled to your access may treat every explanation as a problem to solve. If you are tired, they offer a shorter visit. If you are busy, they propose another time. If you need space, they ask how much space. If you say the conversation hurts, they argue about whether it should hurt. Your reason becomes the beginning of a negotiation. This is one of the quiet ways peace gets spent, not in one dramatic moment, but through hundreds of small withdrawals. A conversation you did not have the strength for, a favor accepted from guilt, an opinion hidden to prevent tension, a need postponed because someone else's need sounded louder, a private moment interrupted by a demand that could have waited, a choice defended until you were too tired to remember why it mattered. You may not see the full cost while it is happening. You may only feel dull, irritated, scattered, or strangely far from yourself. You may lose interest in things that usually restore you because even pleasure begins to feel like another item to complete. You may crave solitude and then spend the solitude worrying that someone is upset with you for taking it. Even rest can become supervised. You lie down, but your mind stays near the phone. You take time away, but you keep checking whether anyone needs you. You turn off a notification, then turn it back on because not knowing feels unsafe. You decline a plan, then spend the evening imagining the disappointment your absence may have caused. Your body is in one place, but your attention remains on duty. That is not a personal failure. It is a pattern of protection. The mind repeats what once reduced danger, conflict, or disconnection. If quick replies once prevented anger, quick replies can become automatic. If pleasing others once brought warmth, pleasing can feel necessary. If explaining yourself once stopped punishment, explanation can become a reflex. If noticing everyone's mood once helped you prepare, you may still scan even in rooms where no threat is present. A protective pattern does not need to be hated before it can change. You do not have to shame the part of you that learned these habits. Shame would only give it another danger to manage. That part has worked hard. It has watched doors, voices, silences, and changes in expression. It has tried to keep relationships stable. It has tried to make you lovable by making you low maintenance. It has tried to earn peace by preventing anyone else from becoming uncomfortable. It deserves compassion, not command. You can speak to that part as you would speak to someone who stayed awake too long on your behalf. You do not need to tell it that it was foolish. You can say, I understand why you learned this. You can say, you were trying to help me belong. You can say, you were trying to protect me from the pain of being misunderstood, rejected, blamed, or left. The old strategy may be exhausting now, but it was not created without reason. Some people grew up in spaces where a clear no was respected. Others grew up where a no required courage, explanation, or consequence. Some were taught that privacy was normal. Others were taught that privacy meant secrecy. Some learned that rest was necessary. Others learned that rest had to be earned after everyone else was satisfied. You may have received love from people who cared for you and still did not know how to respect your limits. Both can be true. Someone may have done their best and still taught you to ignore yourself. A family may have valued loyalty while confusing loyalty with constant access. A relationship may have contained real affection and still left little room for your separate inner life. Healing does not require you're turning every person into a villain. It does require honesty about what a pattern costs. You can love someone and feel drained by the way they reach for you. You can understand someone's pain and still know that you cannot carry it every day. You can forgive a person and choose less contact. You can care deeply and stop participating in conversations that leave you shaken. You can be compassionate without becoming endlessly available. These truths may feel uncomfortable because they challenge an old bargain. If I give enough, explain enough, remain calm enough, and ask for little enough, I will be safe from rejection. The bargain rarely says itself out loud. It hides inside behavior. It appears when you agree before checking your capacity. It appears when you feel responsible for another adult's reaction to your honest answer. It appears when you confuse someone's disappointment with evidence that you did something wrong. It appears when you keep talking after your truth has already been said because silence feels dangerous. The bargain can also appear in generous people who truly enjoy caring for others. Your kindness is not fake. Your love is not a symptom. Your empathy is not the enemy. The question is not whether you should stop caring. The deeper question is whether care still includes you. Does your kindness leave room for your body? Does your patience leave room for truth? Does your understanding leave room for consequences? Does your love leave room for choice? These are not accusations. They are invitations to look without punishment. You may see places where you have disappeared from your own care. You may see moments when you expected yourself to tolerate what you would never ask another person to tolerate. You may see how quickly you defended everyone else's reasons while doubting your own. You may feel sadness about the years spent earning what should not have required exhaustion. Let the sadness be dignified. It does not need to become a courtroom. You do not need to build a case against your past. Grief can be a quiet recognition that something precious was overused. Your attention was precious. Your tenderness was precious. Your availability was precious. Your capacity to listen, comfort, solve, respond, and remain present was precious. What is precious needs care. This does not mean it must be hidden away. It means it cannot be treated as if it has no limit. A well that is never given time to refill does not become more loving by being emptied. A voice that is never heard inside its own life does not become more generous by growing silent. A heart that is always on call does not become safer by ignoring its own signals. Here is the part that often remains unspoken. People may benefit from the version of you who has no limit. They may not intend harm. They may have become accustomed to your speed, your flexibility, your emotional labor, or your willingness to make things easy. When you begin to pause, their inconvenience may sound like criticism. When you take time, their surprise may sound like disapproval. When you stop over-explaining, their confusion may tempt you to return to the old pattern. Their reaction does not automatically define your decision. A person can dislike your limit without your limit being cruel. A person can feel disappointed without you being responsible for removing that feeling. A person can misunderstand you without your truth becoming false. A person can want more access than you can safely give. You may need to hear this more than once. Another person's discomfort is not always an emergency. For someone who has spent years reading the room, that sentence can feel almost rebellious. Your body may resist it. You may immediately think of exceptions, responsibilities, children, elders, work, emergencies, or people who genuinely depend on you. Of course, life includes real duties. Care is sometimes inconvenient. Love sometimes asks effort from us. Responsibility is not the enemy. The difference is whether your care is chosen with awareness or extracted through fear. Fear says, answer now or they may leave. Fear says, say yes or they may think badly of you. Fear says, explain until they approve. Fear says, fix their mood before you rest. Fear says, keep everything smooth, even if smoothness requires you to go numb. Awareness speaks differently. It asks, do I have the capacity for this? Is this mine to carry? Is this urgent, or does it only feel urgent because someone else is uncomfortable? Am I responding from care, or am I trying to prevent rejection? What happens inside me when I imagine saying yes? What happens when I imagine saying no? You may not always know the answer at once. That is why a pause can be sacred. A pause is not punishment. It is not manipulation. It is not a game. A pause is the small space where your own voice has a chance to arrive before habit answers for you. It may be one breath. It may be 10 minutes. It may be a day. The length is not the point. The point is that you are included in the decision. You may begin with words as ordinary as, let me think about that. For some people, this sentence feels simple. For others, it feels like stepping out of a role they have played for years. the role of the immediate helper, the dependable one, the person who never makes things difficult, the person who always understands. A pause may reveal how much pressure has been hiding inside your yes. It may also reveal that some requests are easy to accept when you are given room to choose. A true yes feels different when it is not forced by guilt. It has warmth in it. It does not require you to abandon your body. It may still involve effort, but the effort does not carry the same bitterness. The goal is not to refuse everything. The goal is to hear yourself before you answer. The tiredness is not asking you to stop loving. It is asking you to stop disappearing inside love. That difference will guide everything that follows. You may feel grief as you compare this with relationships you know. Let the comparison be information, not condemnation. You are not required to decide everything today. You are gathering truth. You are listening for the places where your body has been trying to speak beneath politeness. Your body often knows before your explanation does. It may tighten when a certain name appears. It may grow heavy before a familiar obligation. It may feel restless during a conversation where you are not permitted to disagree. It may become tired around someone who needs you to prove your care repeatedly. It may feel relief when plans are canceled, then guilt for the relief. Relief is information. Tension is information. Exhaustion is information. None of these feelings automatically tells you what action to take. They are not verdicts. They are signals that deserve a place in the conversation. For too long, you may have treated everyone else's signals as important and your own as inconvenient. That can change without drama. It can begin quietly in the private moment before a reply. It can begin when you ask yourself, what is true for me? It can begin when you stop adding a second apology. It can begin when you let a reasonable answer remain short. It can begin when you understand that a person who loves you may need time to adjust to a version of you who is no longer endlessly available. Adjustment is not abandonment. It is a rebalancing. You are not withdrawing love from the world. You are withdrawing the belief that love must cost you your inner steadiness. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming present enough to know what you are agreeing to. You are not creating conflict by having needs. You are ending the private conflict in which your mouth says yes while your whole body says no. That inner conflict has been expensive. It has taken time, sleep, focus, joy, confidence, and trust in your own decisions. It has made ordinary requests feel heavy because each one carried the hidden possibility of rejection. It has made you rehearse conversations that never happened. It has made rest feel undeserved while someone else remained unhappy. The unseen expense I named at the beginning has a pattern. It grows whenever access is treated as proof of love. It grows whenever your peace is exchanged for approval. It grows whenever another person's immediate comfort becomes more important than your long-term well-being. Soon, you will be given a different image for this. Not a weapon, not a locked room, not a way to make yourself unreachable, something living, something that can welcome and still protect, something that can open without being forced. Before that image arrives, let this truth settle where it can. You were not wrong for learning to survive through availability. You were not foolish for believing that kindness could keep you safe. You were not weak for trying to prevent conflict. You were not selfish when your body began asking for another way. The part of you that kept saying yes was trying to preserve connection. The part of you that is tired now is trying to preserve you, and either part needs to be punished. They need to meet each other with honesty. You can thank the old protection without promising to live inside it forever. You can appreciate how alertness helped you while admitting that constant alertness now drains you. You can honor your generosity while learning that generosity needs choice. You can love your sensitivity while refusing to make it responsible for every mood in the room. There is no shame in discovering that what once protected you has become too costly. There is wisdom in noticing the cost. There is courage in pausing before the next withdrawal. There is dignity in deciding that your inner life belongs in the equation. You do not have to make a declaration. You do not have to explain this realization to anyone. Let it begin privately. Let it begin as a small shift in attention from the room back toward yourself. Ask only this for now. What happens to me when everyone can reach me without pause? Do not rush to answer. The answer may arrive as a memory. It may arrive as a sensation. It may arrive as a face, a conversation, a recurring request, or a tiredness you have never put into words. It may arrive as relief at the idea that access and love are not the same thing. That relief is not coldness. It is the first sign that your peace is ready to come home. Home, in this sense, is not a place you have to travel toward. It is the moment your attention stops standing at every outside door and turns toward what has been living quietly within you. Imagine a garden, not a perfect garden, not a display made for strangers to admire, a real one, a place with tender growth, uneven paths, sturdy roots, young leaves, old branches, open soil, small corners of color, and spaces that are still becoming what they are meant to become. Some parts are thriving, some are recovering, some need more room, some need to be left undisturbed for a while. This garden is your inner life. It holds the thoughts you have not spoken, the feelings you are still learning to name, the dreams you protect from careless opinions, the memories that need tenderness, the humor that returns when you feel safe, the creativity that disappears when you are overextended, and the quiet knowing that becomes difficult to hear when too many voices are speaking over it. Around this garden stands a fence. The fence is not made to erase the world. It does not deny that other people exist. It does not say that you are better than anyone outside it. It does not turn love away. It gives shape to what is yours to tend. A fence says this living space has edges. It says What grows here deserves protection from being stepped on without thought. It says, not every passing demand should be able to cross the soil. It says, care requires more than good intentions. Care also requires form. And there is a gate. This matters. The fence is not a wall without an opening. It has a gate because you are not being asked to become unreachable. You are not being asked to stop trusting everyone. Klauke owes your heart or live in suspicion. The gate exists so love can enter through choice rather than force. You keep the key. For a person who has spent years making themselves available, this image may feel unfamiliar. You may have lived as though the gate belonged to everyone, as though anyone who knocked hard enough, waited long enough, became upset enough, needed enough, or knew you well enough had the right to enter. You may have believed the key was selfish to keep. So you left the gate open. At first, an open gate may have looked like kindness. It may have made connection easy. People did not have to ask whether you had capacity. They did not have to wonder whether the timing was right. They did not have to wait for an invitation. They could enter with their worries, opinions, expectations, requests, disappointments, advice, and urgency. Some came with love. Some came because they trusted you. Some did not realize how much space they took. Some saw an open gate and assumed it had always been meant for them. And because you cared, you may have welcomed everyone in the same way. You may have believed that good people never close a gate. You may have believed that if someone felt shut out, you had failed them. You may have confused access with intimacy and availability with devotion. But a gate that never closes is not really functioning as a gate. It becomes an opening without choice. When entry is constant, even kind visitors can begin to disturb what is growing. Not because they are cruel, not because they intended damage. They may simply not know where the young roots are. They may not see what is fragile. They may not understand that a path you have walked for years is still tender in one place. A person can love your garden and still step where they should not. A person can admire what grows in you and still expect too much access to it. A person can mean well and still arrive at a time when you need quiet. This is why intention is not the only thing that matters. Impact matters too. You have probably been taught to look first at what someone meant. They did not mean to hurt you. They were only worried. They were having a hard day. They did not know better. They love you in their own way. These things may all be true. Yet the garden still feels what crossed into it. Soil does not ask whether the foot meant harm before it becomes compressed. A tender stem does not become less bent because the person who brushed against it was distracted. Your body, your attention, and your emotional capacity also register impact, even when your mind quickly explains it away. You do not have to accuse someone in order to admit that their access has been costly. This is a mature form of honesty. It is possible to hold compassion for another person and still close the gate for a while. It is possible to understand their reasons and still protect the place inside you that needs recovery. It is possible to believe that someone is doing their best and also know that their best does not automatically become safe for you. The gate allows these truths to exist together. Without a gate, you may feel forced into extremes. Either everyone enters or you disappear completely. Either you answer every message or you block every number. Either you explain everything or you say nothing at all. Either you remain endlessly understanding or you become the kind of person you never wanted to be. The gate offers another way. It can open, it can close, it can remain closed while you decide. It can open only part way. It can welcome one person and not another. It can be open for a conversation and closed when the conversation becomes harmful. It can stay closed without hatred. This flexibility is not inconsistency, it is discernment. A living garden does not need the same conditions every day. A seedling needs something different from an old tree. A wounded place needs something different from a strong one. A season of rebuilding may require more privacy than a season of celebration. Your boundaries are permitted to respond to what is actually true now. You are not required to offer the same access forever because you once offered it freely. You are not required to continue a pattern because someone has become comfortable with it. You are not required to make your present capacity match the version of you who had more energy, fewer responsibilities, less awareness, or a greater tolerance for discomfort. The key in your hand means you can respond to the present. It means your yes is alive. A living yes can change when information changes. A living yes can become no when a conversation crosses a line. A living yes can ask for a pause. It can include conditions. It can say, I can speak for 20 minutes. It can say, I can help with this part, but not all of it. It can say, I care, and I cannot discuss this today. This is not a lesser form of love. It may be the first honest form of love you have offered in a long time. When the gate is always open, people do not meet your choice. They meet your habit. They meet the version of you who responds automatically, agrees before checking, and stays after your capacity is gone. They may feel close to you, but they may not know where you truly are, because your real answer never reaches the conversation. A boundary can make genuine closeness possible. It tells another person where you begin. It gives them the chance to know you rather than only benefiting from your accommodation. It lets them see what matters to you, what exhausts you, what restores you, what you can offer, and what you cannot carry. Someone who respects the gate does not need to agree with every decision you make. They may feel disappointed. They may wish the gate were open when it is closed, but they do not try to climb the fence, take the key, break the latch, or convince you that having an entrance at all is an act of cruelty. Respect sounds like, I understand. It can also sound like, I am disappointed, but I respect your answer. It can sound like, tell me when, you have space. It can sound like, I did not realize I was asking too much. It can sound like silence that does not punish you. The people who are able to love you with a gate may become safer to love. They do not require your exhaustion as proof of devotion. They do not treat your rest as rejection. They do not make every limit about their worth. They recognize that a closed gate can mean many things. You are tired, you are thinking, you are healing, you are attending to another responsibility, you need private time, or you are not available for what is being asked. A gate is information. It is not an insult. Yet if you have lived without one, even a calm boundary can feel harsh inside your own body. You may hear yourself say, I cannot do that, and feel a wave of guilt before the sentence is finished. You may feel heat in your face, pressure in your chest, or a need to fill the silence with reasons. That reaction does not mean the boundary is wrong. It may mean the boundary is new. The body often interprets new behavior through old memory. If refusal once led to anger, withdrawal, criticism, or shame, a simple no may still feel dangerous even when you are speaking to a different person in a different time. The gate may be safe while your body remembers what happened when you tried to close it before. This is why you do not need to force yourself into boldness. You can learn the key slowly. You can feel its weight in your hand. You can practice turning it in small situations. You can begin where the risk is lower. You may wait before answering a request that is not urgent. You may stop explaining after one clear sentence. You may move a conversation to another day. You may decide that a subject is private. You may let a call go unanswered while you finish eating. You may choose not to read a message the moment it arrives. These actions can look ordinary from the outside. Inside, they may represent a profound change. They teach your body that not every knock requires immediate entry. A knock is a request. It is not a command. A ringing phone is information. It is not a summons. Someone's need is real. It is not automatically yours to meet. Someone's feeling is valid. It is not automatically yours to fix. These distinctions make the gate stronger without making your heart harder. For years, you may have tried to protect love by removing every barrier. Now you are learning that love can become clearer when it has a doorway. Without a doorway, connection can spread into every part of life. Work follows you into rest. Family tension enters private moments. A friend's crisis becomes the center of your entire evening. A stranger's opinion stays in your mind longer than your own truth. The gate helps place things where they belong. Work may matter deeply and still remain outside during certain hours. A loved one may deserve care and still need to wait until you have the capacity. A difficult conversation may be necessary and still not belong in the middle of your meal. A request may be reasonable and still receive no. The value of a gate is not that everything outside is bad. The value is that not everything belongs inside at every moment. You would not place every object you own in the center of a garden. Even useful things need their place. A chair may belong near the path, but not on a young plant. Tools may be necessary, but should not remain scattered across the soil. Water supports growth, but too much at once can overwhelm what is trying to root. In the same way, even good things require measure. Conversation is good, connection is good, helping is good, responsibility is good, generosity is good. But when they enter without limit, they can occupy the very space where peace was meant to grow. There are forms of giving that nourish you. There are forms that leave you hollow. There are conversations that deepen connection. There are conversations that use your presence without truly meeting you. There are people who enter your garden and become more careful because they see what is living there. There are others who treat your tenderness as an unlimited resource. The key helps you learn the difference. It does not decide for you. No affirmation, teacher, friend, or rule can tell you exactly who should enter every part of your life. Discernment is personal. It depends on context, history, safety, responsibility, and the truth of each relationship. The image is not asking you to suspect everyone. It is asking you to stop suspecting yourself every time you feel a limit. Your reluctance may not be selfishness. Your tiredness may not be laziness. Your need for privacy may not be avoidance. Your desire to leave may not be a failure of compassion. Sometimes the body recognizes a trespass before the mind is willing to name it. There are people who do not knock. They announce. They assume. They tell you what you should do, how quickly you should respond, what you should forgive, what you should share, and how long you are permitted to feel hurt. They may describe this as closeness, honesty, concern, tradition, duty, or love. Love does not require the removal of your key. Concern does not create ownership. History does not create permanent permission. A title does not create unlimited access. Parent, partner, sibling, friend, colleague, leader, client, relative. These roles matter, but no role erases your personhood. You are still the keeper of what enters your inner life. This may be especially difficult when someone has helped you, sacrificed for you, supported you financially, raised you, stood beside you during hardship, or forgiven you in the past. Gratitude can become tangled with access. You may feel that because someone gave to you, they now have a lifelong key. Gratitude is not a deed of ownership. You can appreciate what someone has done without giving them authority over every future choice. You can remember their care, without accepting disrespect. You can honor a relationship without exposing every private room of your inner life. A gate can hold gratitude and self-respect at the same time. You may worry that this makes love feel transactional. It does not. A gate is not a payment system. It is not opened only when someone earns enough points. It is not a device for controlling others. Its purpose is not to punish people by withholding closeness. Its purpose is to make entry conscious. Conscious entry changes the quality of a relationship. You can welcome someone because you want them there, not because guilt dragged them through. You can listen because you have chosen to listen. You can help without secretly hoping the other person notices how much you are sacrificing. A chosen yes is cleaner. It carries less hidden resentment. It does not require the other person to guess how depleted you have become. When you choose entry, you also become responsible for communicating with more honesty. The gate is not only about what others must respect. It asks you to respect your own signals before they become anger. You may need to speak sooner. You may need to say, "I am reaching my limit," before you are already beyond it. You may need to ask for time instead of hoping someone notices your silence. You may need to stop offering what you cannot sustain. This can feel less dramatic than waiting until you are forced to close everything at once. Small, timely boundaries protect relationships from the explosion created by long, unspoken resentment. A gate closed calmly today may prevent a wall built in pain tomorrow. This is one reason boundaries are not the opposite of connection. They can protect connection from being overused. Think of the relationships in which you feel most at ease. You may notice that you do not have to perform constant access there. You can be quiet without being punished. You can disagree without the bond becoming a threat. You can take time to reply. You can have another priority. You can say, "Not today," and still be loved tomorrow. Safety often feels less like endless closeness and more like freedom within closeness. You can move towards someone without being trapped there. You can step back without destroying the bond. The gate opens both ways. You are permitted to let people in, and you are permitted to step out into the wider world. Boundaries do not only protect you from demands, they also protect your freedom to grow beyond roles that have become too small. You may have been known as the peacemaker, the helper, the strong one, the listener, the easy child, the reliable friend, the person who never asks for much. These identities may have brought love and purpose. They may also have kept you standing at the gate, serving everyone who arrived, while the garden behind you waited for your attention. You are more than the role that made you useful. Your value does not begin when someone needs you. You do not have to be in crisis management to deserve a place in your own life. There may be parts of the garden you have barely visited because you have spent so long attending to the entrance, a desire you postponed, a creative interest you dismissed, a friendship that feels mutual, a quiet morning you rarely permit, a part of your personality that appears only when no one is asking you for anything. The gate gives you time to walk inward. At first, That inward space may feel empty. When you are accustomed to constant demand, peace can resemble absence. You may reach for noise because noise tells you who to be. A request gives you a role. A problem gives you a purpose. Someone's need tells you where to direct your energy. Without that direction, you may ask, "Who am I when no one needs me right now?" Do not be frightened by the question. It is an opening. You are not losing purpose. You are discovering that purpose can include being alive, rather than only being useful. Inside the garden, there are things that do not need to become productive. A thought can be enjoyed without becoming a project. A moment can be beautiful without being shared. Rest can be valuable without preparing you to work harder. Joy can belong to you before anyone else benefits from it. This may be one of the most healing uses of the gate. It creates a place where your experience does not have to be turned into service. You can keep something because it is precious. You can hold a good moment without explaining it. You can protect a new plan until it has roots. You can refuse advice before you have even heard your own opinion. There are dreams that become distorted when exposed too early to people who cannot see them. There are decisions that need silence before discussion. There are tender changes that should not be brought before an audience while they are still forming. Privacy is not always secrecy. Privacy can be warmth around a seed. It can be the fence that keeps careless feet from crossing a place that is not ready for traffic. The people who love you do not need immediate access to every thought you have. You are permitted to understand yourself before offering an explanation. You are permitted to wait until a feeling becomes clear. You are permitted to say, "I am not ready to talk about that." The gate may remain closed while clarity grows. This does not make you deceptive. It makes room for an inner relationship with yourself. For a long time, you may have processed your feelings through other people. You felt something and immediately asked what they thought. You considered a change and quickly searched for approval. You made a decision and then doubted it when someone questioned you. The gate creates a pause between your knowing and the world's response. In that pause, your own voice becomes easier to recognize. It may be quieter than the voices you are used to obeying. It may not argue. It may not give a long explanation. It may say only, "This is too much," or "I do not want this," or "I need more time," or "This matters to me," a quiet truth. Cage is still a truth. It does not need to become loud before it deserves respect. You may also discover that some old boundaries were built from fear rather than wisdom. The gate is not only for closing. It can help you open where you once protected yourself too completely. Perhaps you have kept safe people outside because unsafe people taught you that closeness always becomes control. Perhaps you have hidden needs because asking once led to shame. Perhaps you have carried everything alone because receiving felt dangerous. You hold the key, which means you may choose welcome too. You can open for mutual care. You can open for honest support. You can open for laughter, companionship, repair, and help. You can invite someone into a part of your life without giving them every part. This is the beauty of a gate. It rejects the false choice between exposure and isolation. You do not have to hand someone the key in order to let them enter. You can meet them at the gate. You can decide the path. You can say how long the visit lasts. You can remain present to what happens inside you while they are there. A healthy relationship does not demand that you stop being the keeper. It becomes safer because both people remain keepers of their own inner lives. This is where respect begins, not in unlimited access, but in two people choosing what they offer without coercion. The garden does not flourish because no one ever enters. It flourishes because entry is aligned with care. Some people bring steadiness. Some help you see what has grown. Some sit beside you without needing to rearrange anything. Some ask before touching what is tender. Some remind you that receiving can be as sacred as giving. You are allowed to learn what respectful entry feels like. It may feel quieter than intensity. It may feel less dramatic than being urgently needed. It may feel unfamiliar because there is no chase, no guessing, no constant test of loyalty. A person knocks. You answer when you can. They respect the response. Nothing has to break. At first, peace can feel almost too simple. The mind may search for the hidden cost. It may wonder when the demand will come. It may interpret consistency as boredom because unpredictability once felt like passion. Give yourself time to recognize safe love. Safe love does not rush the gate. It does not force confession. It does not use your compassion against you. It does not ask you to betray your body to prove your heart. This standard is not perfection. Everyone makes mistakes. Good people can overstep, misunderstand, or ask too much. What matters is what happens when the boundary becomes visible. Do they become curious, or do they become punishing? Do they adjust, or do they argue that your limit should not exist? Do they care about the effect on you, or only about losing access? Repair is possible when respect returns. The gate can reopen after honest repair. It does not have to remain closed forever because someone made one mistake, but apology without change is only another knock. You are permitted to watch behavior. You are permitted to let trust grow at the pace of evidence. You are permitted to stop confusing potential with safety. This is not hardness. It is stewardship. You are tending something alive. And what is alive should not be governed only by who wants access to it. It must also be governed by what helps it remain whole. The question is changing now. It is no longer only, do they need me? It is becoming, what happens in me when I let this enter? It is no longer only, will they understand? It is becoming, do I understand myself? It is no longer only, how can I keep the peace between us? It is becoming, what protects the peace within me? This is where the garden begins to teach you the difference between forcing and welcome, fear and wisdom, pressure and invitation. And the first lesson is simple enough to miss. The gate does not decide whether you are loving. It reveals whether love is being given a choice. Choice changes the quality of what enters. The same conversation can feel entirely different when you enter it because you have decided to be present rather than because you are afraid of what will happen if you are not. The same act of care can nourish you when it comes from willingness and drain you when it comes from pressure. The same yes can carry warmth or quiet resentment, depending on whether your own voice was included before it was given. This is where the gate teaches something important about force. Force does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it sounds like disappointment held just long enough for you to feel responsible. Sometimes it arrives as a question asked again after you have already answered. Sometimes it appears as advice you did not request, offered with such certainty that your own knowing begins to seem unreasonable. Sometimes it comes through silence, distance, wounded expressions, or the familiar suggestion that if you truly cared, you would make an exception. Force can also come from within. You may stand at your own gate and repeat every old command you once heard from others. Do not be difficult. Do not disappoint them. Do not make this about you. Be grateful. Be mature. They need you. You can handle it. It is easier to say yes. You will rest later. No one else has to push when the pressure has already been planted inside. This is why learning boundaries is not only about changing what you say to other people. It is also about changing the voice that speaks to you while you are deciding. If the inner voice is harsh, every choice becomes a trial. If it treats your needs as suspicious, your no will always feel like evidence against your goodness. Wisdom does not speak that way. Wisdom does not need to frighten you into self-respect. It does not say, close the gate or everyone will hurt you. It says, look at what is happening here. It does not say, never try. Just again. It says, let trust grow where respect is present. It does not say, prove your strength by refusing. It says, choose what protects what matters. Fear closes everything because it expects danger everywhere. Wisdom decides. Fear may lock the gate and throw away the key. Wisdom keeps the key close and pays attention. Fear assumes every knock will become a trespass. Wisdom listens for how the person responds when asked to wait. Fear can become rigid because rigidity feels safer than uncertainty. Wisdom remains clear without becoming cruel. There will be moments when fear and wisdom feel almost identical. Both may tell you to step back. Both may make you hesitate. Both may ask you not to open immediately. The difference often becomes clearer when you listen beneath the urgency. Fear says, get away before anything can happen. Wisdom says, take the time you need to see what is happening. Fear says, if you open once, you will lose yourself. Wisdom says you can open and remain connected to yourself. Fear says no one is safe. Wisdom says safety is something you can observe, build, and protect. You do not have to perfectly identify which voice is speaking before you act. A pause can serve both. Time gives fear a chance to settle and wisdom a chance to become clearer. The gate does not demand instant certainty. It gives you somewhere to stand while certainty forms. You may still make choices you later change. You may open to someone and realize the conversation is too much. You may close the gate and later decide you are ready. You may speak a boundary awkwardly. You may offer too many reasons, become nervous, or soften your words until the message is barely visible. None of this means you have failed. You are learning a language your body may not have been permitted to speak before. Fluency takes practice. The first time you say, "I need time," your voice may shake. The first time you let a message wait, you may think about it constantly. The first time you end a conversation before the other person is satisfied, guilt may follow you for hours. The first time you choose privacy, you may feel as though you are hiding something. These feelings are not final truth. They are echoes of an old system in which access meant safety and refusal meant danger. An echo can be loud without being current. You can hear it and still keep your hand on the key. This is where the unseen expense from the beginning becomes clear. Your peace has not only paid for other people's comfort, it has paid for the hope that constant availability could protect you from rejection. Every hurried yes was trying to purchase certainty. Every long explanation was trying to purchase understanding. Every apology for having a need was trying to purchase continued belonging. Every time you stayed beyond your capacity, some part of you was trying to purchase proof that you were loving enough to keep. The price was your own inner steadiness, and the bargain never truly delivered what it promised. You could give everything and still be misunderstood. You could explain every detail and still be judged. You could answer immediately and still be accused of not doing enough. You could become indispensable and still feel insecure about whether you mattered beyond what you provided. Peace cannot permanently buy protection from another person's choices. It can only be spent. That is the loop beneath so much exhaustion. You were not only giving time or effort, you were paying for a guarantee no relationship can honestly provide. No amount of self-erasure can guarantee that someone will stay. No amount of pleasing can guarantee that someone will understand. No amount of availability can guarantee that another person will become respectful. These truths may feel painful, but they can also return the key to your hand. When you stop trying to purchase certainty through access, you can begin to choose connection for what it truly is. A meeting between two people, not a contract in which one person disappears to keep the bond intact. This does not make relationships less meaningful. It makes them more honest. You can offer care because care reflects your values, not because you are trying to control the outcome. You can be generous without secretly asking generosity to protect you from loss. You can listen without promising to become the solution. You can love someone without making their response the final measure of your worth. This is what peace begins to pay you back. Not as a reward delivered by the world, not as a guaranteed result, not as money appearing, problems vanishing, or every relationship becoming easy. Peace may return something quieter and more reliable, the ability to hear your own answer before fear edits it. It may return time. It may return concentration. It may return the energy that was spent rehearsing, defending, predicting, and repairing things that had not happened. It may help you make clearer choices because you are no longer making every decision inside the emergency of possible disapproval. It may help you recognize which relationships become more respectful when you become more honest, and which relationships depended on your silence. It may help you feel resentment earlier, while it is still information rather than an explosion. It may help you leave a conversation with enough of yourself remaining to return to your own life. This is the payment the title points toward. Peace can give you back your presence. Presence is where discernment lives. When you are present, you can notice whether a request is reasonable without letting guilt answer first. You can notice whether you want to help. You can notice whether the timing is wrong even when the request itself is not. You can notice whether someone is asking or assuming. You can also notice the beauty of opening. A protected gate makes welcome more meaningful. When you know you are free to close it, you no longer have to fear every opening. You can let someone in without wondering whether they will own the entrance forever. You can share something tender without believing you must share everything. Choice gives generosity a clean beginning and a clear edge. The edge does not make the generosity smaller. It makes it sustainable. A garden cannot give every flower away and remain a garden. It cannot let every visitor pull at the roots to prove that the roots are real. It cannot offer every part of itself to every season. Some things are meant to grow before they are shared. Some are meant to remain private. Some are meant to be offered only where they will be received with care. You may begin to ask a new question before opening the gate. What am I protecting here? Not what am I afraid of? Not only what might go wrong? What am I protecting? You may be protecting an hour of rest. You may be protecting your ability to think before making a decision. You may be protecting a child from an adult conflict. You may be protecting your recovery from a conversation that repeatedly reopens pain. You may be protecting a new relationship from the opinions of people who do not understand it. You may be protecting your work, your health, your concentration, your privacy, or your right to change. You may be protecting something as small as the chance to finish a meal without interruption. Small protections matter. A peaceful life is rarely built through one grand declaration. It is built through repeated moments in which your inner life is treated as real. This does not mean every discomfort deserves avoidance. Some important conversations are difficult. Some responsibilities require effort. Growth can ask you to face what you would rather postpone. The gate is not a way to escape all discomfort. It is a way to distinguish chosen discomfort from harmful pressure. A difficult truth spoken with respect may belong inside. A demand disguised as love may not. A trusted person challenging you with care may support growth. A person shaming you until you surrender does not become wise because they use serious words. You are learning to feel the difference between being invited to grow and being forced to comply. Growth leaves your dignity intact. Control asks you to trade dignity for approval. The gate notices. It notices whether you are permitted to think. It notices whether your no is heard. It notices whether the conversation makes room for your reality. It notices whether your vulnerability is later used against you. It notices whether repair changes behavior. You do not have to ignore this information in order to call yourself loving. Love that requires blindness is not love toward yourself. And self-love is not a performance in which you repeat beautiful words while continuing to hand away the key. It is a relationship expressed through decisions. It appears in what you permit, what you pause, what you protect, and what you no longer explain beyond necessity. This is why the word choose can bring resistance. Cho me. Ice sounds powerful, but for many people it also sounds dangerous. You may think, I do not always have a choice. That is true. Life includes obligations, unequal power, financial realities, caregiving duties, workplaces, family systems, health conditions, and circumstances where complete freedom is not available. It would be careless to pretend that every gate can be closed without consequence. The affirmation is not denying reality. It is not blaming you for places where power has been taken from you. It is not saying that every difficult situation exists because you failed to protect your peace. It is not asking someone in danger to become safe through positive thinking. The word choose does not mean you control everything. It means that wherever a real piece of choice remains, you are permitted to recognize it. Sometimes the choice is large. Sometimes it is whether to answer now or later. Sometimes it is whether to share one detail or none. Sometimes it is whether to ask for help. Sometimes it is whether to leave the room. Sometimes it is whether to believe the voice that says you deserve support. Sometimes your safest choice may be quiet preparation rather than immediate confrontation. Choice can be small and still be yours. Let the affirmation meet you there. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. Do not rush past the sentence. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. You may feel the mind begin to argue. It may produce every moment when you did not have a choice. every duty you cannot set down, every person who ignores limits, every consequence you fear. You do not have to fight those thoughts. The affirmation is not demanding that you deny them. It is offering a new relationship to the places where choice is possible. Say it again, more gently. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. The word choose may be the hardest word in the sentence. It may carry memories of being called selfish. It may remind you of times when your choice disappointed someone you loved. It may make you think of a culture, family, workplace, or relationship where personal choice was treated as disloyalty. Let the resistance speak without giving it the key. It may say, "What if they become angry?" You can answer, "Their anger may be difficult, and it is not the only truth that matters." It may say, "What if they leave?" You can answer, "Loss is painful, and losing myself is also painful." It may say, "What if I am wrong?" You can answer, "I am permitted to make a decision and revise it when I learn more." It may say, "What if I hurt someone?" You can answer, "I can care about impact without surrendering every limit." It may say, "What if I become cold?" You can answer, "A gate is not a wall. I can remain warm and still decide." You are not trying to silence fear. You are changing its position. It may speak, but it does not have to hold the key. For some listeners, the full affirmation may still feel too far away. That is all right. Belief cannot be forced into the body. If you cannot believe it yet, say only, "I am willing to believe that I may choose what enters my life." That willingness is enough for this moment. You do not have to feel powerful. You do not have to feel certain. Willingness is a small opening toward a different possibility. I am willing to believe that I may choose what enters my life. You may not be able to choose every circumstance, but you may be able to choose one response. You may not control who knocks, but you may be able to wait before answering. You may not be able to leave a situation today, but you may be able to tell one trusted person what is happening. You may be able to write down what is true. You may be able to learn what support exists. You may be able to stop blaming yourself for someone else's behavior. You may be able to protect one private thought from an opinion that would crush it. Do not underestimate one honest choice. A key is small. Its size does not determine what it can open or close. The gate also asks you to release a false responsibility, the belief that every person who feels shut out has been harmed by you. There are times when a closed gate may disappoint someone. Disappointment is not automatically damage. A child may be disappointed by a necessary limit. A friend may be disappointed that you cannot attend. A family member may be disappointed that a subject is no longer open for discussion. You can care about the feeling without undoing the boundary. You can say, "I understand this is not what you wanted." You do not always need to add, "So I will change my answer." Compassion can remain present while the gate remains closed. This is a skill. It takes strength to witness another person's feeling without rushing to erase it. It takes trust to believe that healthy relationships can survive moments of frustration. It takes practice to stop treating discomfort as proof that love has failed. You are not responsible for creating a life in which no one is ever disappointed with you. That life would require your disappearance. The aim is not to become careless about others. The aim is to become honest about the difference between care and control. Care says, your feelings matter. Control says, your feelings must determine my answer. Care says, I will listen. Control says, I must agree. Care says, I do not want to hurt you. Control says, I must prevent every feeling you dislike. The gate protects this difference. It makes room for two realities at once. Someone can wish you had said yes. You can still mean no. Someone can believe you should forgive now. You can still need time. Someone can want closeness. You can still require safety before offering it. This is not the end of love. It may be the beginning of love without coercion. There is another reason the gate matters. It protects in not only peace, but truth. When you fear another person's reaction, your words begin to bend. You say what will keep the interaction stable rather than what is honest. You hide irritation until it becomes distance. You promise more than you can give. You say, it is okay when it is not. Then the relationship is peaceful only on the surface. Underneath, the garden is being neglected. Real peace is not the absence of visible conflict at the cost of invisible pain. Real peace can include an honest conversation, a necessary ending, a firm no, or a period of distance. It can include grief. Peace is not always pleasant. Sometimes it is the steadiness that comes after you stop arguing against what you know. You may cry and still be at peace with the decision. You may miss someone and still know the gate must remain closed. You may love a person and still accept that closeness with them is not safe. You may feel uncertain and still choose the next protective step. Peace does not require emotional numbness. It requires less betrayal of your own reality. This is also where care for yourself must become practical. Affirmations may support reflection, comfort, and well-being, but they do not replace medical care, psychological support, legal advice, financial guidance, or help from qualified professionals when those forms of support are needed. If someone is harming, threatening, controlling, stalking, abusing, or isolating you, protecting your peace does not mean staying silent and trying to think more positively. It does not mean managing danger alone. Reaching toward trusted friends, community resources, advocates, counselors, medical professionals, legal support, or emergency services can be an act of strength. A boundary is not always a sentence spoken directly to the person who has harmed you. Sometimes a boundary is a safety plan. Sometimes it is documentation. Sometimes it is leaving with support. Sometimes it is blocking contact. Sometimes it is asking others not to share your location. Sometimes it is receiving professional guidance before taking the next step. You do not owe confrontation where confrontation could increase danger. Your safety matters more than performing courage in a certain way. And if you are living with grief, trauma, anxiety, depression, illness, exhaustion, or another burden that feels larger than affirmations can hold, seeking appropriate help does not mean these words failed. It means your life deserves more than one form of care. The garden may need more than the keeper. It may need skilled hands, trusted witnesses, strong support around the fence, or someone who knows how to repair what has been damaged. Receiving help does not take the key from you. The right help returns more choice to your hands. This distinction matters because self-protection can become another place where vulnerable people are blamed. You did not cause harm by thinking the wrong thoughts. You did not invite mistreatment by failing to affirm strongly enough. You are not responsible for another person's cruelty, dishonesty, violence, addiction, manipulation, or refusal to respect limits. Your thoughts can influence how you relate to yourself. They do not control every event or every person. Let that truth remove a weight from your shoulders. The purpose of this image is not to tell you that perfect boundaries prevent all pain. They do not. People can still overstep. Loss can still happen. Life can still bring circumstances you would never choose. The gate is not a guarantee. It is a practice of returning to yourself within reality. When the world is uncertain, you still deserve a relationship with your own inner life. When others behave badly, you still deserve support. When a boundary is ignored, you still deserve to seek stronger protection. The gate is one part of care, not the whole of care. This makes the affirmation more honest. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. The sentence does not promise control over everyone outside. It names responsibility for what is yours to tend. You may choose a thought to question. You may choose a conversation to postpone. You may choose a person to trust. You may choose support. You may choose distance. You may choose to open again after repair. You may choose not to reopen where the pattern has remained unchanged. Each choice tells the garden that it exists. Each choice says, what grows here matters. And now the smaller question planted at the gate begins to rise. What belongs inside? If everything is no longer permitted to enter automatically, what are you making room for? Not only what are you protecting yourself from, what are you protecting space for? There is a difference. A boundary built only around fear may become narrow. A boundary built around value has direction. It knows what it wants to preserve. You may be protecting space for rest that is not interrupted by guilt. You may be protecting space for creativity before criticism reaches it. You may be protecting space for relationships where you do not have to earn your place every day. You may be protecting space for your body to recover from constant alertness. You may be protecting space for laughter that is not used to hide pain. You may be protecting space for a future self who no longer believes that love must be purchased through exhaustion. These things belong inside. Truth belongs inside. Rest belongs inside. Mutual love belongs inside. Honest work belongs inside. Support belongs inside. Your own unperformed presence belongs inside. Not everything inside must be peaceful all the time. Anger may belong there as information. Grief may need a place. Confusion may sit near the path until it knows where to go. The garden is not a display of perfect emotions. It is a place where your emotions are permitted to exist without being immediately managed for someone else. This is what the gate protects most deeply, the right to be real before being useful. You do not have to turn every feeling into an explanation. You do not have to make every wound meaningful today. You do not have to become inspirational because you survived something difficult. You may tend what is living without presenting it to the world. Your peace is not paying for approval now. It is beginning to fund your return, a return to clearer thinking, a return to honest choice, a return to the body that has been sending signals, a return to the part of you that knows love can knock without forcing entry. Keep the image near. The fence gives shape. The gate gives choice. The key remains with you. And what grows inside is beginning to remember that it was never meant to live under constant footsteps. The footsteps do not have to stop before the garden can recover. Life will continue to ask things of you. Messages will arrive. Responsibilities will remain. People will have needs, hopes, opinions, disappointments, and expectations. The gate does not create a world without demands. It changes the way demands meet you. They no longer enter without being seen. You can stand at the gate long enough to recognize what is asking for access. You can ask whether it belongs here, whether this is the right time, whether you have the strength, whether the request is respectful, and whether opening would be an act of care or an act of fear. This pause may be brief. A single breath can be enough to bring you back into the decision. Before answering, you can feel your feet where they are. You can hear the words being asked without immediately agreeing to them. You can notice the first response in your body. You can remember that another person's urgency does not erase your need to understand what you are being asked to carry. Then you may answer. Sometimes the answer will be yes. The gate opens and you welcome the person, the conversation, the task, or the responsibility with a clearer heart. Because you chose it, you can meet it more fully. You are less likely to spend the entire time wishing you had refused. Your presence is no longer divided between what you are doing and the resentment of having been pushed into it. Sometimes the answer will be no. The gate remains closed and the world continues. This may surprise the part of you that expected disaster. A person may be disappointed. A plan may change. Someone may need to find another solution. There may be an uncomfortable pause, and still the world continues. The sun does not disappear because you protected an hour. Love does not become impossible because you declined one request. Your goodness does not evaporate because you did not make yourself available. Sometimes the answer will be not now. This answer has its own wisdom. Not every closed gate is permanent. You may need rest before you can listen well. You may need more facts before making a decision. You may need to speak with someone you trust. You may need the emotion inside you to become less tense before entering a conversation. Not now is a complete form of care. It protects the moment from an answer made under pressure. You may also say yes to one part and no to another. You can help without becoming responsible for the whole problem. You can listen without agreeing. You can attend without staying until the end. You can offer support without offering secrecy. You can love someone without accepting the way they speak to you. The gate is capable of detail. It does not know only open and closed. It can define the shape of entry. This may sound like, I can speak for a few minutes. It may sound like, I am able to help on Saturday, but not today. It may sound like, I want to continue this conversation when we can both speak respectfully. It may sound like, I will not discuss that part of my life. It may sound like, I care about you and I'm not able to be your only support. Clear words do not guarantee an easy response. They do give your truth a place to stand. For a long time, you may have believed that the safest boundary was the one no one noticed. You tried to withdraw quietly, respond more slowly without saying why, make excuses, stay busy, change the subject, or hope the other person would sense your discomfort. This is understandable. Indirect limits may have been the safest limits available to you. But where safety and circumstances permit, clear communication can reduce the burden of constant guessing. It gives another person an opportunity to respond to what is true rather than to a signal they may not understand. Clarity is not aggression. A clear sentence can be warm. A firm sentence can be calm. A short sentence can carry care. You do not have to make the boundary sound painful enough to deserve respect. You do not have to present yourself as completely exhausted before you are permitted to rest. You do not have to wait until you are angry before saying that something is not working. The gate can close before damage occurs. This is a new form of responsibility. You are taking responsibility for speaking while your voice is still steady. You are taking responsibility for the promises you make. You are taking responsibility for not offering what you know you cannot continue. This protects other people too. When you say yes from fear, They may build expectations around an offer that cannot last. They may depend on a version of you who is already disappearing. Then, when the strain becomes unbearable, the sudden withdrawal may confuse both of you. A sustainable answer may seem smaller at first, yet what is sustainable can become trustworthy. You can say, I can do this once, but not regularly. You can say, I want to support you, and I need us to find another form of support too. You can say, I agreed too quickly, and I need to change my answer. Changing an answer may bring shame. The mind may accuse you of being unreliable. It may say that once the gate opened, you lost the right to close it. But consent to time, energy, conversation, help, touch, attention, or access can be reconsidered when the reality becomes clearer. You are permitted to learn from what happens after you say yes. You are permitted to realize that the cost is greater than you understood. You are permitted to stop. This does not mean commitments do not matter. They do. Other people may be affected when plans change. Honest repair may be needed. You may need to acknowledge inconvenience or make a responsible transition. Responsibility, however, is not the same as endless surrender. You can take ownership of your part without handing away the key. This is important for the part of you that fears becoming selfish. Selfishness is not simply having a boundary. A person can have boundaries and still be careless, just as a person can give constantly and still use giving to control others. The question is not whether you ever say no. The question is whether your choices respect the humanity of everyone involved, including your own. A healthy gate is not slammed for pleasure. It is not used to create anxiety, withhold affection as punishment, or make others prove their devotion. It is not a tool for superiority. It does not say, I have needs, so yours do not matter. It says, both of us are real. It says, your feelings matter and they do not erase mine. It says, I can care without agreeing to everything. It says, I will be honest about what I can offer. This kind of boundary is an act of integrity. Integrity means the answer spoken at the gate is connected to what is true inside. Your outer behavior and inner reality begin to move closer together. There is less distance between the smile and the feeling, less distance between the promise and the capacity, less distance between who you are with others and who you are alone. That closeness to yourself may feel unfamiliar. You may have lived so long in reaction that choosing can feel slower than people expect. Let it be slower. A tree does not apologize for taking time to root. The garden does not rush because someone outside is impatient. The pace of another person's desire is not always the pace of your truth. There may be moments when you know immediately. A clear no rises before the request is finished. Honor the clarity where it is safe to do so. There may be other moments when your answer is hidden beneath layers of habit. You may need to sit with the request. You may need to imagine both possibilities and observe what each one creates inside you. When you imagine saying yes, do you feel open effort or trapped effort? When you imagine saying no, do you feel clean relief or only panic? When you imagine asking for more time, does something inside you begin to breathe? These sensations are not commands. They are part of the information. Your values matter too. At times, a chosen yes may still feel heavy because the task is difficult, You may care for someone through a hard season, complete a responsibility you do not enjoy, or remain present for a conversation that asks courage from you. A boundary-centered life is not a life organized only around comfort. It is a life in which discomfort is not automatically confused with obligation, and guilt is not automatically treated as guidance. You can choose a hard thing because it aligns with who you want to be. You can also refuse a familiar thing because it asks you to become someone you no longer wish to be. This is the deeper freedom of the key. It does not promise ease. It restores authorship. You become an active participant in your own giving. The word authorship may sound large, but it lives in small acts. It lives in the moment you stop typing an unnecessary apology. It lives in the moment you say, I need to check my schedule, rather than agreeing from reflex. It lives in the moment you do not answer a personal question that feels intrusive. It lives when you change the subject without shame. It lives when you end a call because your body has reached its limit. It lives when you choose not to attend a place where your dignity is repeatedly reduced. It lives when you ask for what you need rather than hoping someone will discover it. These choices do not make every relationship easier. They make your participation more honest. Some relationships will deepen. A person may welcome the clarity because it removes hidden resentment. They may begin telling you the truth about their limits, too. Both of you may discover that the bond feels safer when no one is expected to be endlessly available. Some relationships may become more distant. This can hurt. A person who is comfortable with your lack of limits may describe your change as rejection. They may say you have become different. They may be right. You are becoming different, not less loving, less absent from yourself. You do not have to deny the grief of this change. Even a necessary boundary can create loss. You may miss the closeness, the routine, the shared history, or the version of the relationship you hoped could exist. Grief does not mean you should reopen the gate. Sometimes grief is what you feel while protecting what must remain protected. Let the garden hold that grief without turning it into guilt. Grief may sit beside the path for a while. It may return in waves. It may ask you to remember both what was beautiful and what was painful. You do not have to erase the good in order to honor the limit. A relationship can have contained love and still require distance. A person can have mattered deeply and still no longer be permitted the same access. You can cherish a memory without recreating the conditions that harmed you. The gate is strong enough to hold complexity. This is not a story in which everyone outside is wrong and everything inside is pure. You will make mistakes. You may become defensive. You may close too quickly. You may open when you know better. You may speak sharply after waiting too long. When that happens, the gate can become a place of repair. You can return and say, "My limit is still real, and I regret the way I spoke." You can say, "I was afraid, and I shut you out without explaining." You can say, "I offered more than I could give, and I want to be clearer now." Repair does not require abandoning the boundary. An apology can address the way you delivered the truth without withdrawing the truth itself. This may be new for you. Perhaps you learned that apologizing meant surrendering your position. Perhaps every conflict had to end with one person being completely right and the other completely wrong. The garden teaches another way. You can remove what caused harm and still preserve the fence. You can mend the latch without leaving the gate open. You can acknowledge another person's pain without declaring that your need was invalid. This is emotional maturity. Not perfect calm, not endless patience. The willingness to remain connected to truth while taking responsibility for impact. Your key does not make you beyond correction. It makes correction a choice rather than a collapse. You can listen when someone says your behavior affected them. You can examine what is true. You can change where change is needed. You can refuse shame that asks you to abandon yourself. There is a difference between accountability and self-erasure. Accountability says, "I will look honestly." Self-erasure says, "I must become wrong in every way so the relationship can feel safe again." You no longer need to pay that price. Your peace can support honest reflection better than panic can. When you are not fighting for permission to exist, you can hear feedback without assuming it is a verdict on your worth. You can ask, "What can I learn here?" You can also ask, "What does not belong to me?" Both questions matter. Some criticism will contain truth. Some will be an attempt to return you to your old role. Discernment stands at the gate. It does not reject every difficult message. It does not accept every accusation. It listens, considers, and decides. The key remains in your hand. This is the moment for a promise. Not a promise that you will never become afraid. Not a promise that every boundary will be spoken perfectly. Not a promise that you will always know whom to trust. A promise built from what the garden has taught you. Let the words rise slowly. I tend my garden, keep my key, and open my gate by choice. Hear the order of the vow. You tend the garden first. You pay attention to what is growing, what is depleted, what needs support, what has been ignored, and what is ready to be shared. You do not make every decision from the entrance. You walk inward. You know the place you are protecting. Then you keep the key. You do not hand it away because someone is impatient. You do not hide it from yourself because choosing feels uncomfortable. You remember that access is not proof of love. Then you open by choice. The promise is not to remain closed. It is to remain present when opening. Say it again. I tend my garden, keep my key, and open my gate by choice. You may feel resistance to the word keep. Perhaps you were taught that keeping anything for yourself was selfish. Your time, your privacy, your energy, your joy, your opinions, your plans. You may have learned that love meant offering everything. But keeping the key is not withholding love. It is keeping responsibility where it belongs. No one else can know every condition inside you. No one else feels your fatigue exactly as you do. No one else can decide what access is sustainable for your body, your history, your obligations, and your season of life. You may seek counsel. You may receive help. You may ask trusted people what they see. Still, the key remains connected to your own participation. This vow does not isolate you from guidance. It prevents guidance from becoming ownership. Again, in your own time, I tend my garden, keep my key, and open my gate by choice. Let the vow become physical now. A boundary is not only an idea in the mind. The body carries every yes, every no, every unfinished explanation, and every moment of bracing. The body has stood at the gate too. You do not need to force it to relax. Bring your attention to the forehead. You may have held effort there while trying to predict reactions, solve future conversations, and arrange every word before speaking. Let the forehead release the need to plan every response. Your eyes may have spent years searching faces for permission, danger, disappointment, or approval. Let the eyes release the duty of reading every room. You can see what is in front of you without making yourself responsible for all of it. Bring awareness to the jaw. There may be words you swallowed there. There may be anger you tried to hide, refusals you changed into smiles, and truths you held so tightly that the muscles learned to remain ready. Let the jaw release the answer it no longer needs to rehearse. Your truth can exist before it is spoken. It does not have to push its way out all at once. Feel the throat. This is where yes and no become sound. It is where requests enter and answers leave. It may carry the memory of being interrupted, dismissed, laughed at, or punished for speaking clearly. Let the throat release the belief that truth must be perfectly delivered to be valid. Your voice may shake. It is still your voice. Bring attention to the shoulders. They may have carried tasks before anyone formally asked. They may have lifted when a phone rang, tightened when someone sighed, or prepared to hold another burden because you were certain no one else would. Let the shoulders release what was never consciously chosen. You can care without carrying everything. Feel the chest. There may be tenderness there and fear beside it. The heart may have learned that openness required constant access. It may worry that a gate will make love disappear. Let the chest release the belief that protection and warmth cannot coexist. Your heart does not become smaller when it has a boundary. It becomes easier to hear. Bring awareness to your hands. Your hands may have fixed, held, typed, served, soothed, cleaned, worked, carried, and reached for others long after they became tired. Let the hands release the need to solve what has not been placed in them. You do not have to grab every falling thing. Some things belong in other hands. Feel the stomach. This may be where the first no appears. A tightening, a drop, a turning sensation, a quiet refusal that arrives before the mind begins explaining it away. Let the stomach release the shame of knowing before you have words. Your body's signal deserves curiosity. It does not need immediate obedience, and it does not deserve automatic dismissal. Bring attention to the back. The back often holds what you have been trying not to show. The effort of appearing steady, the strain of supporting people who did not see how much weight you carried. Let the back release the role of being strong every moment. Support is permitted to reach you. You do not have to remain upright through everything alone. Feel the hips. They connect you to movement, stability, and direction. They may hold the hesitation of wanting to leave while feeling unable to move. Let the hips release the belief that staying is always kinder than stepping away. You are permitted to change position. You are permitted to create distance. Bring awareness to the legs. Your legs have carried you into rooms where you performed ease and out of rooms where you held back tears. They may have remained still when some part of you wanted to go. Let the legs release the command to remain where dignity is being reduced. You can stand, you can pause, you can walk toward support. Feel the feet. They are touching the ground of the life you are actually living, not the life you must explain to everyone else. Let the feet release the need to stand at every entrance. You belong inside your own garden too. Take in the body as a whole. Forehead, eyes, jaw, throat, shoulders, chest, hands, stomach, back, hips, legs, feet. This is not a performance of calm. You may still feel tension. You may feel emotion. You may feel tired. The practice is not to create a perfect body. It is to stop leaving the body out of the decision. When a request comes, return to one place: your feet, your chest, your stomach, your hands. Let one part of the body remind you that you are here. A person is asking something of you. You are also a person in the conversation. The answer belongs to both reality and capacity. Carry this into an ordinary moment. The next time the phone lights up, do not treat the light as an order. Feel one breath enter. Let your eyes read the name. Let your hand remain still for a moment. Ask, do I have space to open now? The next time someone asks for a favor, let the question finish. Feel your feet. Do not race ahead to remove their uncertainty. Ask, what can I honestly offer? The next time guilt rises after a no, place a hand somewhere steady. Ask, did I cause harm, or did I create a limit? The next time you begin a long explanation, pause after the first true sentence. Ask, is more information needed, or am I trying to earn permission? These questions are not rules. They are paths through the garden. You will forget them sometimes. You will answer too quickly. You will find yourself in an old pattern and recognize it only afterward. Recognition still matters. Recognition. You can return after the fact. You can send another message. You can say, I need to reconsider. You can learn from the moment without turning it into evidence that you will never change. A garden is tended repeatedly. No single day completes it. No single mistake destroys it. There will be seasons when the gate opens often. You may feel strong, connected, generous, and supported. Giving may feel natural. There will be seasons when it opens less. Grief, illness, change, recovery, parenting, work, uncertainty, or emotional exhaustion may reduce what you can offer. Capacity is not character. Having less to give does not make you less loving. A quiet season is not a moral failure. The garden does not apologize in winter for not flowering like summer. Your life will have seasons too. Respecting them may protect you from promising what your current life cannot sustain. You can say, I am in a season where I need more privacy. You can say, my capacity has changed. You can say, I cannot offer what I used to offer. People who knew an earlier season may need time to understand. You do not have to force the current garden to look like an old photograph. What is true now deserves care now. This is how the vow becomes lived. I tend my garden. I pay attention. I keep my key. I remember choice. I open my gate by choice. I welcome without abandoning myself. I close without turning my heart into stone. I repair without removing the fence. I listen without surrendering all authority. I care without offering my peace as payment. My dear, you are not learning to become unavailable to life. You are learning to become available without vanishing. That is a different kind of presence. It is steadier. It is clearer. It can last. The body knows the difference. The garden will too. It will learn from every moment in which you return before habit has the chance to answer for you. The garden will learn when you pause before opening the message. It will learn when you let a request remain unanswered until you understand your capacity. It will learn when you speak one clear sentence and do not cover it with apologies. It will learn when you welcome someone because their presence feels respectful, mutual, and safe. It will also learn when you make a mistake and return. You do not lose the key because you open too quickly. You do not lose the garden because an old habit appeared. You do not lose your right to peace because you became afraid, over-explained, agreed from guilt, or stayed longer than you wanted. Awareness is not canceled by imperfection. You can recognize what happened and begin again at the next gate. This beginning again is how trust in yourself grows. Self-trust is not created by always making the perfect choice. It grows when you know that whatever happens, you are willing to listen to yourself afterward. You are willing to tell the truth about the cost. You are willing to repair, revise, and protect what needs protection. You become someone you can return to. That may be one of the deepest forms of peace. Not a life in which no one challenges you. Not a life in which every person respects you immediately. Not a life without confusion, grief, responsibility, or difficult decisions. Peace can be the knowledge that you no longer have to abandon your own signals in order to remain connected to others. You can stay in relationship with yourself while deciding how to relate to the world. The gate makes this visible. When someone knocks, you do not have to run toward the sound. You can first turn and look at the garden. You can see what is happening inside. Is the soil dry? Is something young trying to take root? Has too much been carried through recently? Is there space for a visitor? Does the visitor know how to walk here? Does the visitor become respectful when shown where the path is? The answers may change from day to day. That does not make them false. A garden that needed company yesterday may need quiet today. A person you could support last week may reach you at a time when your own strength is low. A conversation that once seemed impossible may become possible after rest, support, and preparation. The gate responds to reality. It does not obey a permanent rule made during one emotional moment. This is why your boundaries may change as you heal. Some may become firmer. You may stop negotiating with patterns that have shown you what they are. Some may become softer. You may discover that a safe person can be welcomed more deeply than fear once permitted. Healing is not always more distance. It is more choice. You may choose closeness. You may choose privacy. You may choose repair. You may choose an ending. You may choose to ask for help before deciding. The key does not exist to make every answer no. It exists so your yes means sai, omi thing. A yes offered freely carries presence. It does not secretly demand repayment for the self you sacrificed. It does not require the other person to notice what you refused to say. It can be generous without becoming invisible. This is the kind of giving that may remain warm after the moment has passed. You do not leave the conversation blaming yourself for agreeing. You do not punish the person for a limit you never expressed. You do not spend the evening trying to recover from the image of being kind. You gave what was yours to give. Then you return to yourself. This return is part of the gift. It keeps love from becoming a place where only one person is permitted to exist. There may be people in your life who have never met the version of you who carries a key. They know the open entrance. They know immediate replies, flexible plans, unlimited listening, and the way you often made their comfort more important than your own truth. Your change may confuse them. Do not confuse their unfamiliarity with your wrongdoing. People learn the shape of a relationship through repetition. When the pattern changes, they may test whether the old entrance is still available. They may ask again. They may become more emotional. They may remind you of who you used to be. You can hear them without returning to the old arrangement. You can say, "I understand this is different." You can say, "This is what I can offer now." You can say, "My answer has not changed." You do not have to become angry in order to remain clear. You do not have to become cold in order to stop negotiating. The gate may close quietly. A quiet gate is still closed. This can be especially important when someone interprets calmness as uncertainty. They may assume that because you are kind, your decision is flexible. They may treat every warm word as an opening through which the old pattern can return. Warmth does not cancel firmness. You can speak with care and still mean every word. You can wish someone well and still decline access. You can understand their history and still protect your future. You can hold compassion without holding the entire relationship together by yourself. The responsibility for connection is shared. One person cannot create mutuality through greater sacrifice. One person cannot repair a bond that the other person keeps damaging. One person cannot make a gate respectful by repeatedly explaining why it deserves to exist. At some point, behavior becomes the answer. This does not mean you must make every decision quickly. It means you may trust what repeated behavior teaches. If someone repeatedly ignores the latch, climbs the fence, mocks the garden, or demands the key, you do not have to keep calling the pattern a misunderstanding. You may name what is happening. You may strengthen the boundary. You may ask for support. You may leave. Your peace does not require you to remain accessible to a pattern that keeps injury. Zhang Yu. Peace may require action. It may require an uncomfortable truth, a changed routine, a blocked number, a new agreement, outside help, or a period of no contact. It may require you to disappoint someone who benefited from your lack of protection. The action does not have to be dramatic to be real. You may begin by telling one trusted person. You may begin by writing down what has happened. You may begin by learning what support is available. You may begin by moving important documents, changing a password, adjusting a schedule, or creating more privacy around your plans. You may begin with the smallest safe movement toward greater choice. There is no shame in beginning small. A key is turned through a small movement. A gate changes position. A path becomes available. You do not need to compare your courage with someone else's. The right step is the one that respects the reality of your situation. For some, courage will mean speaking. For others, courage will mean staying quiet while preparing. For some, courage will mean opening after years of fear. For others, courage will mean closing after years of overexposure. The garden does not compare its season with another garden. It responds to what is growing here. That word matters. Here, not in someone else's life, not in an ideal relationship, not in the version of your family you wish existed, not in the past when your capacity was different. Here, what is true here, what is needed here, what preserves dignity here. These questions bring you back from fantasy, guilt, and fear into the life you can actually tend. You may still hope that someone changes. Hope is not foolish. People can learn. Relationships can repair. Understanding can deepen. But hope does not need unlimited access in order to remain hope. You can wish for change while responding to the behavior that exists now. You can leave the possibility of a future gate without keeping the present gate open. This is not punishment. It is reality joined with care. The garden has taught you that protection is not the same as rejection. It has taught you that privacy is not dishonesty. It has taught you that someone's desire for entry is not ownership of the key. It has taught you that love may knock. Healthy love waits for an answer. Healthy love does not threaten the garden because the gate is closed today. Healthy love cares about the conditions inside, not only about gaining entrance. Healthy love can hear no without turning your humanity into a debate. You may not have experienced enough of this kind of love yet. That does not mean you are asking for too much. It may mean you are learning what mutual care feels like. Mutual care has room, it has breath, it has two voices, it has repair. It has limits that do not become weapons. It has closeness that does not require captivity. It can survive a delayed answer. It can survive a changed mind. It can survive separate needs. It can survive truth. The gate, protects your ability to recognize this kind of love because it reduces the noise created by constant pressure. When you are not always reacting, you can observe more clearly. You can see who becomes respectful when you speak. You can see who becomes curious when you change. You can see who only felt close while you were giving without measure. You can see who brings peace rather than merely asking you to surrender yours. This clarity is one of the returns. When you protect your peace, you may receive back the attention needed to see your relationships as they are. You may receive back the time required to think. You may receive back energy that can be directed toward work, care, creativity, health, friendship, and rest. You may receive back the ability to enjoy someone without fearing that every pleasant moment will become a permanent obligation. You may receive back trust in your own yes. You may receive back respect for your own no. This is how peace pays you. It does not promise that the world will reward every boundary. It returns resources that were being spent without your conscious agreement. It returns presence. It returns choice. It returns a clearer relationship with yourself. And from that clearer relationship, different decisions become possible. You may stop chasing explanations from people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You may stop making promises from the panic of a moment. You may stop measuring your kindness by how exhausted you feel afterward. You may stop mistaking guilt for guidance. You may stop calling self-neglect love. This does not happen all at once. One gate, one pause, one answer, one honest return. The garden becomes more alive each time your care includes you. Now the smaller question from earlier can be answered fully. What belongs inside? Your unperformed self belongs inside. The person you are before you, adjust your face, tone, needs, and opinions, for the room belongs inside. Your honest fatigue belongs inside. Your laughter belongs inside. Your anger may enter as information without being given permission to destroy. Your grief may enter without being rushed. Your confusion may remain until clarity grows. Your dreams may stay protected until their roots are strong enough for wider air. Rest belongs inside. Work that has meaning belongs inside. Love that knocks belongs inside. Friendship that respects the path belongs inside. Help belongs inside. Receiving belongs inside. Play belongs inside. Silence belongs inside. The answer was never perfect calm. The garden is alive. Living places contain movement, change, beauty, loss, growth, and unfinished things. What belongs inside is whatever can exist without requiring you to betray your dignity. That is the standard, not perfection, not endless comfort. Dignity, truth, choice, care. The gate protects these. You may picture yourself standing there now. You do not need armor. You do not need a speech. The key rests in your hand. The fence stands where it stands. Beyond it, life continues. Inside it, life continues too. You hear a knock. You breathe. You do not rush. You look inward before you look outward. You remember what is growing. You remember what is recovering. You remember the vow. I tend my garden, keep my key, and open my gate by choice. The words are no longer only an idea. They are a posture, a way of standing, a way of returning. Let them become simpler now. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. My peace has a gate, and I choose what enters. I listen before I open. I pause before I promise. I respect my capacity. I trust the pause. I may take my time. I do not owe instant access. A request is not a command. A knock is not ownership. My no may be kind. My yes may be free. I can change my answer. I can ask for support. I can choose privacy. I can welcome safe love. I can leave harmful patterns outside. I can care without carrying everything. I can listen without becoming the solution. I can understand without surrendering. I can forgive without restoring access. I can miss someone and keep the gate closed. I can love someone and choose distance. I can grieve and remain clear. I can be warm and firm. I can be generous and protected. I can be open and discerning. I can receive without owing myself away. My needs belong in the conversation. My body belongs in the decision. My truth does not need a long defense. My time has value. My attention has value. My rest has value. My privacy has value. My peace has value. What is precious receives care. What is tender receives time. What is growing receives space. I tend what is mine. I release what is not mine. I do not manage every mood. I do not answer every knock. I do not explain every choice. I do not open through fear. A 2-point goes, I open through choice. I keep the key. I know the path. I honor the fence. I welcome respect. I welcome truth. I welcome mutual care. I welcome safe support. I welcome honest love. My garden has room for me. My life has room for me. My relationships have room for me. I am not only useful. I am not only available. I am a person with an inner life. That inner life matters. My feelings may exist. My answer may form slowly. My boundary may be brief. My decision may be quiet. Quiet is enough. Clear is enough. A pause is enough. One sentence is enough. My no is real. My yes is real. My choice is real. I may reconsider. I may return. I may repair. I may close. I may open. I am willing to choose. I am learning the key. I am learning welcome. I am learning protection. Love may knock. Respect will wait. Care will listen. Truth may enter. Rest may enter. Help may enter. Joy may enter. Peace may remain. I keep the key. I choose entry. I choose timing. I choose care. I choose dignity. The gate is mine. The garden is mine. My peace is mine. Safe love enters. Pressure stays outside. Truth grows here. Rest grows here. Choice grows here. I belong here. I am here. I am home. Let the words become quiet inside you. You do not need to repeat every line. You do not need to remember them in order. One sentence may remain. One image may remain. The feeling of the key may remain. That is enough. If your attention wandered, nothing was lost. If you thought about someone, remembered a conversation, or became aware of something else around you, you did not fail to receive these words. Attention moves. The mind opens and closes. You may return wherever you are. Nothing important depends on perfect concentration. The garden does not disappear when you look away. The gate remains. The key remains. The choice remains available. You may remember it later when a message arrives. You may remember it halfway through an explanation. You may remember it after saying yes too quickly. You may remember it when relief appears after a plan is canceled. Return then. There is no penalty for returning late. There is only the next moment of choice. If you are listening while resting and your thoughts become soft, you may let them soften. If you hear only part of what follows, nothing essential is missed. These words are not a test of attention. Their purpose is to help you recognize what is already yours, your inner life, your capacity, your dignity, your key. You are not required to make a major change after this. Let the first change be the way you look at a small request. Let the first change be a pause. Let the first change be the absence of one unnecessary apology. Let the first change be finishing your meal before replying. Let the first change be asking yourself what is true. Small choices teach the garden that you have returned. With time, the gate becomes less frightening. You stop seeing every closure as a possible ending. You stop seeing every opening as a permanent surrender. You learn that relationships can move. You learn that safe people can wait. You learn that disappointment can pass. You learn that guilt can rise and fall without making the decision for you. You learn that your body can survive the silence after a clear answer. You learn that peace is not created by making everyone happy. It is strengthened when your choices and your truth no longer live in separate places. This alignment may change the way you walk into rooms. You may feel less responsible for the entire atmosphere. You may listen without scanning for what you must fix. You may leave before resentment takes over. You may speak before exhaustion becomes anger. You may become easier to know because the person others meet is no longer hidden behind constant accommodation. Some will welcome this. Some may resist it. The garden does not need unanimous approval to be real. Your peace does not require a public vote. You do not have to convince everyone that the gate is loving. Live the truth of it. Let the quality of your yes show it. Let the steadiness of your care show it. Let the absence of hidden resentment show it. Let the relationships that become more mutual show it. A protected garden can offer beauty without becoming public property. A protected heart can offer love without becoming an unlimited service. A protected life can remain connected to the world. Protection is not the end of love. It is the end of force being mistaken for love. If these words have given you a place to breathe, you may continue with the related playlist and let another reflection meet you from here. Choose the next piece only if it feels supportive. There is no urgency. For now, remain with this gate. See the latch resting in place. Feel the key in your hand. There is nothing harsh in the image. The fence is not angry. The gate is not ashamed. The garden is not apologizing for having edges. It is alive because those edges exist. Your peace may return time to you. It may return clear thought. It may return honest affection. It may return the strength to receive help. It may return the difference between being loved and being used. It may return you to yourself. This is why protecting peace has value. It is not passive. It is not empty. It is not selfish. It keeps your life available for what deserves to grow there. You no longer have to spend peace to prove love. You no longer have to purchase belonging through exhaustion. You no longer have to leave the gate open to show that your heart is warm. Your heart is warm. Your gate has wisdom. Your key has purpose. All is well. The path is clear, the fence holds, the garden breathes. Love enters by invitation now.